be about?
I mean, these are all the questions for officer. What I do, I didn't do nothing wrong. You see me walking on the streets.
Yes, that's what we're stopping. If you see me walking on the streets.
Do you see me walking on the streets? Because I'm smoking my split, walking on the streets?
That's right.
That's not illegal, man. You can ask him, I just came out of there eating a burger and all of that, man.
Yeah, you can make a burger there.
Yeah. Taking off my shirt, all of this stuff.
That's where you like. Where you look
Grab it.
No. What are you thinking about? You got anything with it?
No, man, I'm just saying, you grabbing my doors and all of that, man, that was crazy. Alright, officer, enough is enough with that.
Not.
Yes, because I work for UPS. You want to see my ID and everything?
Alright, that's fine. Let's go to something, alright? Where you got it?
What are you talking? Yo, you want me to take off my pants, man?
Yo,
Come
relax,
on.
don't reach,
Yo,
alright?
come on, don't do that.
Don't do that,
on my
Alright? Alright, you
Yo.
go ahead. You search it.
Come on, man.
You want to feel comfortable? Search. What?
Come on, man.
Search.
Look, you want me to take off my pants?
No.
You don't
Don't do that.
take off my. You want to grab my everything, man? What's wrong with
As Officer Swazzaro searches Mr. Simon, he grabs Mr. Simon's groin area multiple times, and Mr. Simon voices his protest. Whether or not the officers had the legal authority to search Mr. Simon depends on the level of suspicion that they possessed at the time, and unfortunately the facts are disputed on this issue. While the officers contend that they had so-called probable cause to arrest Mr. Simon based on reports from a field intelligence officer that he was observed engaging in a drug transaction, Mr. Simon argues that he was simply walking on the street and had not engaged in any illegal activity. It is important to note that even if Mr. Simon had not done anything wrong, a court could still find that the officers had so-called reasonable suspicion or even so-called probable cause based on the facts available to them if the evidence showed that an individual matching Mr. Simon's description had been involved in a nearby illegal drug transaction. And a court determining the legality of the search would first review the totality of the circumstances to determine whether the officers had reasonable suspicion, probable cause, or no objective suspicion of wrongdoing. When officers do not have reasonable suspicion or probable cause to suspect a citizen, they have authority to engage in a voluntary encounter and request a consensual search, but the individual is free to refuse and walk away. Any search at this stage must be based on the citizen's voluntary consent. Now, if an officer gains so-called reasonable suspicion that a person is involved in criminal activity, the officer may conduct a temporary investigative detention, also known as a Terry stop based on the 1968 Supreme Court case that created the doctrine. As the Supreme Court established in the Terry case, the officer may also perform a limited pat-on frisk during one of these investigative detentions if there is also reasonable suspicion the person is armed and dangerous. And then finally, if an officer has so-called probable cause to believe that an individual committed a crime, the Supreme Court held in the 1973 case of United States versus Robinson that they may arrest them and perform a full search of their person and immediate belongings without a warrant as a standard incident of arrest. This includes a search of their pockets, clothing, and personal effects for weapons, evidence, or contraband. Now, in order for a court to find that the search conducted on Mr. Simon was constitutional, the officers would need to have probable cause to conduct an arrest and a search incident to arrest. However, even assuming that they had probable cause, a search incident to arrest must remain quote-unquote reasonable in scope and manner under the Fourth Amendment. And Mr. Simon would have a strong argument that Officer Swazzarota's repeated grabbing of his crotch area was unnecessary, overly intrusive, and therefore unreasonable in violation of the Fourth Amendment. Additionally, NYPD Patrol Guide Procedure Number 208-05 states that during a frisk, quote, a thorough external body examination is made by sliding the hand over the subject's body, feeling for weapons or other objects. Now, although the procedure does instruct officers to pay quote-unquote special attention to the quote-unquote groin area, a disciplinary investigation later found that the body camera showed Officer Suazarotas running his hands over Mr. Simon's genital area, squeezing his groin multiple times, and pulling back and forth on his genitals, and that he groped Mr. Simon at least 2, if not 3 different times. Clearly, this level of, let's just call it, attention far exceeds sliding the hand over the area in order to feel for weapons, and it is highly likely that Officer Suazarotas' conduct violated NYPD procedures.
I told you I work, and you want to why you so intense for?
Listen.
You just grabbing my man. You did grab my
Everything's on camera, bro.
You grab my, that's right. You grab my man. Yo, get the me, man. Nah, ain't no fault, man. What's your name? What's your you yourself? Are you a That's right. That's right. Hold up. Let me take my picture of you. Because you want to grab my you want to hear about me tomorrow morning. You want to hear about me. You want to hear about me tomorrow morning. Nah, I don't want no business card. I don't want no business card. Right here. Come 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 right here. Don't grab my phone. Don't grab. Yo, bro, you see this, right?
Everything's on camera.
Grab my and everything, man. The right here.
Everything's on camera. Take a picture of me, you understand?
Yo, you see?
You got my shield number, that's all you need. My shield number, that's it.
Hey, you broke my phone.
Well, I told you not to take a picture of me. You cannot do that, alright?
Yo, you see this, right? They broke my phone.
Everything's
So who's
on
gonna pay
camera.
for my phone?
Everything's on camera.
Who's gonna pay for my phone? After you done grab my phone.
I told you to take a picture of us.
What are you talking about?
Can't take a
You're a
picture of
public
us.
servant. I can take a picture
All
of
you get is our name and shit.
I can take a picture of you. You're a public servant.
when you're too close
You
to
sign up to that. What are you talking about? You taking me grabbing my
Enough, take a
You
picture that
grab my
close.
Officer Fontana claims that he was justified in knocking Mr. Simon's phone to the ground and breaking it because he was not allowed to take photos of officers, with Officer Suazarotas adding that it cannot do so from a close distance. Now, as we have discussed many times before here on ATA, courts have widely recognized that citizens have a First Amendment right to record police officers performing their duties in public. Although the Supreme Court and the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over New York, have yet to issue an opinion on the issue, numerous federal courts of appeal have affirmed this right. Additionally, the City of New York and New York State have codified this right into law. For starters, there's New York City's so-called right to record law, which was enacted in 2020 and codified in Section 14 to 189 of the New York City Administrative Code, which reads, quote, "A person may record police activities and maintain custody and control of any such recording and of any property or instruments used in such recording." The code also creates a private right of action if an officer unlawfully interferes with an individual who is recording the police by taking actions, including now quoting preventing or attempting to prevent the recording of police activities or seizing property or instruments used by any individual to record police activities. Likewise, according to Section 79P of the New York State Civil Rights Law, quote, "A person not under arrest has the right to record law enforcement activity and to maintain custody and control of that recording and of any property or instruments used by that person to record law enforcement activities." Now, while the officers may have started effectuating an arrest on Mr. Simon when they began searching him, they seem to have stopped by the time he took out his phone, as he was permitted to move freely without objection from the officers. Therefore, it is likely that a court would find that Mr. Simon was no longer under arrest and therefore had a right to record the officers under New York law. Additionally, the statute also creates a so-called private right of action for a claim of unlawful interference with recording a law enforcement activity when an officer engages in actions, including intentionally preventing or attempting to prevent a citizen from recording law enforcement activity, commanding a citizen to stop recording law enforcement activity when the person was nevertheless authorized under law to record, or unlawfully seizing property or instruments used by that person to record a law enforcement activity. Now, while both the city and state laws create exceptions for when the recording actually obstructs officers, there is no indication that filming from quote-unquote too close could constitute such an obstruction. Finally, procedure number 304 to 21 of the NYPD Administrative Guide states that, quote, individuals have a right to lawfully observe and or record police activity, including but not limited to detentions, searches, arrests, or uses of force. The right to observe and or record police action can be limited for reasons such as the safety of officers or other members of the public, or when a violation of law is committed by the individual or individuals who are observing recording. The procedure also includes guidelines for officers who encounter individuals who exercise their right to record police activity, instructing them not to, now quoting, intentionally prevent or attempt to prevent an individual from recording police activities, threaten, intimidate, or otherwise discourage an observer from recording police activities. Command an individual to cease recording when an individual is authorized to do so under law, or seize property or instruments used by an individual to record police activities. Accordingly, it is likely that Officer Fontana's conduct violated the First Amendment, New York City law, New York State law, and NYPD procedures. Additionally, there are potential Fourth Amendment implications to Officer Fontana's actions. In the 1984 case of United States v. Jacobson, the Supreme Court determined that, now quoting, a so-called seizure of property occurs when there is some meaningful interference with an individual's possessory interests in that property. Now, because Officer Fontana did not have a lawful justification for slapping the phone out of Mr. Simon's hand and causing it to break, and the damage to the phone meaningfully interfered with Mr. Simon's property interest, Mr. Simon would have a strong argument that Officer Fontana also violated his Fourth Amendment rights.
You grab my and you gonna remember me for doing that. You a crabby, you broke my phone. That's a $1,000 phone. Who gonna pay for my phone? Why you biting your lips? Why you biting your lips? You feel intimidated by me? You grab my
You have an idea, you?
Yeah, I don't need no ID.
You have an idea here?
Yeah, I got a ID on me. For what? For what?
Can I see your ID?
What you want my ID for?
Can I see your ID? Oh, you don't want to give you your ID?
No, don't worry. I got you. And I'm pretty sure people recorded right
You want to see your ID?
Yeah,
We've been recording
that's right.
since we jumped.
All right, I got y'all.
All right.
I got you.
All right.
I got you. Grab my destroy my phone.
All right, 91. All right. 91.
At this point of the encounter, all three officers left the scene without completing an arrest of Mr. Simon. Mr. Simon then called 911 and requested an ambulance. When the officers heard the request, they returned to Mr. Simon's location, and Sergeant Simpson stepped out of his vehicle alone to speak with Mr. Simon.
Hey. Remember this dude face. These dudes right here. Nah. Ain't you a sergeant?
No, it's just me. It's just
That's
me.
what you doing?
It's just
That's what
me.
you doing? That's what you training
Just
them? Pay for that.
Come.
Y'all gonna for that.
Sir, come.
You and your goons. Y'all running around like that's some
Come, we talking
Ain't no talking no more. Ain't no talking. Especially you. Especially you. You want you wild stinking.
by myself to talk to you.
I don't get you was right there.
I'm gonna tell you.
Listen to me. And you a sergeant?
Yes.
You see this small. And you a sergeant? You got them conducting themselves like that?
We'll talk. I don't want your business.
Say to you.
All right,
I ain't
so
got nothing to say to you,
what do you
bro.
want to do?
I already told you what I'm gonna do. I know the procedure. I'm gonna
what?
call. I'm gonna get superior, and I'm gonna fix some charges on this here for grabbing my.
So you want to go to the hospital?
No, yeah, I'm waiting for the ambulance.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the ambulance.
But I have to document it for you.
No, I don't want you, cause you was right here. You part of the incident.
I'll take the report for you.
No, you ain't gonna take no report. You gonna take the report when it comes to whoever else is going down from. That's why y'all playing games, touching the right people.
Okay, here's the thing.
Y'all gonna pay, especially these little predator right here.
Listen.
Touching. Don't touch me, bro.
I'm not gonna touch you.
Don't touch me. Don't touch. I don't want to talk to you. I told you. You part of the incident.
I'm gonna help
so
you.
You can't. No, you can't help me, bro.
You want me to document it?
I'm gonna talk to the lawyer. No, not you. Not you. I talk to somebody else. Not you, because you stood right there. Y'all here acting like some hooligans. With the right one, y'all grabbing up on my. Now I gotta go to the hospital.
Okay.
recorded. They got everything recorded. I got y'all running around playing.
We got it recorded too.
Word up. All right. Have it recorded.
Okay. ET on the bus?
Yo, record it. Keep harassing him. See what's here? And he let them do that. He's supposed to be authority.
They'll be at midnight 45.
Yeah, man, you can tell me all of that.
No, I'm saying the ambulance is coming.
All right, well, y'all playing a dirty game. Y'all been getting away with that a long time. Crazy, man. Y'all out of control. Play with the right one tonight. All that thirsty. Look for some up. Y'all out here trying to walk in the street smoking weed. Out of here. All y'all gonna see. Y'all gonna remember that. Breaking my. Central Book is somewhere doing paperwork, sitting up, use your gun, all of that. Yeah, let me grab me all right here. Look at my swollen.
So you want to make a complaint?
Look at my, like I said, I don't want to talk to you, officer. I don't want to talk to you at your chest. You let them do all that foul right there.
Okay, here's the thing.
No.
I'll make the complaint for you.
No, I don't need your complaint. Yeah, screenshot him. That's the sergeant. Look. You see him?
Simpson 4899.
Don't worry, I got him. Think y'all some crack deal out here and all of that. That's what y'all thought.
I can make the complaint for you. I just need your info. I'll make the call right now.
After an hour ago,
You had a chance to do whatever you had to do, man. Now just face the gun.
I'll take a ride over there. It's an hour and a half.
So one more time, you're not gonna give me no info?
Yo, excuse me. I don't want these guys around me or just assaulting me. I was over there,
At this point of the encounter, all three officers left the scene without completing an arrest of Mr. Simon. Mr. Simon then called 911 and requested an ambulance. When the officers heard the request, they returned to Mr. Simon's location, and Sergeant Simpson stepped out of his vehicle alone to speak with Mr. Simon.
Take a picture of me, you understand?
yo, you see? Now
You got my
On November 29th, 2021, the day after the encounter, Mr. Simon filed a complaint with the New York City Civilian Complaint Review Board. An investigation was conducted, and the board found that Officer Swazarodis had abused his authority by inappropriately touching Mr. Simon. Although Officer Swazarodis claimed during the investigation that he did not grab Mr. Simon's groin, the report concluded that the body camera footage confirmed that Officer Swazarodis did in fact do so at least twice. Officer Swazarodis argued that Mr. Simon rendered his first search invalid by moving, forcing him to search a second time. But the investigator determined that this was disproven by the body camera footage. Based on these misrepresentations, the board also determined that Officer Swazarodis had provided a false official statement during the investigation. Now, as for Officer Fontana, the investigation determined that he had wrongfully interfered with Mr. Simon's use of a recording device, used physical force against him, damaged his property, and spoke to him discourteously. During the investigation, Officer Fontana initially testified that when Mr. Simon took out his phone, he feared for his safety because he thought that the phone could be concealing a taser or a knife, and that Mr. Simon got quote-unquote very, very close to him. Officer Fontana also claimed that he did not slap the phone out of Mr. Simon's hand, but that he only put his hands up to quote-unquote create distance, and that Mr. Simon dropped the phone, or it fell to the ground. However, this version of events is clearly contradicted by the body camera footage. Here's take a picture of me. You understand? Yo, you see him? You got my shield number. That's all you need. After multiple viewings of the body camera footage, showing him hitting the phone out of Mr. Simon's hand, Officer Fontana amended his statement to say that he quote-unquote did not independently recall slapping Mr. Simon's hands and phone. Officer Fontana then claimed that Mr. Simon had extended his arms towards him during the incident, and that he had responded by raising his own arms out of a quote-unquote abundance of caution. But when the investigator pointed out that the body camera footage showed that Mr. Simon did not extend his arms towards Officer Fontana, Officer Fontana acknowledged this fact, but did not amend his statement. Additionally, Officer Fontana claimed that when Mr. Simon alleged that he had broken his phone, Mr. Simon had only quote-unquote flashed the phone at him too quickly for him to see whether there was damage. However, after viewing body camera footage showing that Mr. Simon had showed his damaged phone to Officer Fontana for longer than a so-called flash, Officer Fontana amended his testimony to state that when Mr. Simon showed him the phone, it did not look damaged to him. Finally, Officer Fontana also testified that he told Mr. Simon that he was permitted to take photographs of officers, but that he had gotten too close to them.